Okay, so let's go ahead and do it says this content of the meeting is being sent through to a third party. I guess that's okay. Okay.
Yes, it's going to YouTube. I'm getting it hooked up to YouTube.
Okay, you tell us when you're ready with the video. This is Dawn Otten Sweeney, ladies, and she's a current NSD. It's an approximate 18-minute video. And like I said to the others, Allison, I don't know if you were on when I mentioned, I said, write down in your notes that the ideas and the thoughts that you relate to, that she talks about, or that are very meaningful to you. And in that way, we'll just see what was the one common thing that you really stood out for you in her message. And Angie, you may roll it whenever you are ready. Right now, I just see me. Is that okay? Is that normal?
I'm there. It's coming. It's coming.
That's her. Yes, it's her. Okay.
Great. I'll get going.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Boss Babe Trailblazer edition. And I could not be more excited that Karen Rydell asked me to participate in this. And it's not by accident. It's not by accident that you're listening and you're in Mary Kay right now. And it's not by accident that Karen asked me, and all the speakers are going to serve a role in this. I promise you, because you are part of a trailblazing DNA pioneering opportunity mission field for women. And God had to remind me about this feature of our DNA when COVID-19 happened. Pandemic happened. World shut down. My husband owns a gym and conditioning facility. We live in Michigan. Our state was closed down the soonest and possibly the longest. His business was one of the first to go. And at that point in time, I was not a digital diva. I could not have done this.
Perhaps this is the #1 enemy against type 2 diabetes. The video you are watching cost $1 billion. Yes, you heard me right. That's the exact price Pfizer.
I didn't have a laptop. I had a hard drive the size of a dishwasher in my home, hooked up to the wall, that me and my assistant worked on, because I've been in Mary Kay 38 years. Our trailblazing was done in cars, in airplanes, hotel rooms, training centers, women's kitchen tables, offices, etc. And all of a sudden, we are sitting in our tiny little unrenovated 60-year-old lake house, and I'm realizing, well, okay, well, the majority of my income is not made from selling this product, and if we can't get product and my people can't get product, there's no income coming into our family at all. That's kind of a scary thought that I've never had in my 4 years up to that point in time. But what God reminded me is that you have been a trailblazer. You have been a pioneer all along. You were warm booked in a mall. You were raised to do a good job and get in a great school and have a good job and be a good person and go to church on Sunday and Monday through Friday, work hard and raise your family if you could figure out as a woman how to do that around that schedule. And Saturday have recreation, work to retire, have some great vacation time in between. That's what I was raised for. And then all of a sudden, I'm realizing with this job out of college that this is get up, go to work, come home, watch TV, eat dinner, go to bed. Get up, go to work, come home, watch TV, eat dinner, go to bed. At the city they choose, regardless of what's going on in my life. It doesn't matter what's going on with, my family or my husband or my kids to be or aging parents or the part of the country. Doesn't matter. This is the job you're supposed to do. Period. The end. And there's something about that didn't settle well with me. I didn't like making less than men for doing the same job. I didn't like that someone else had control over my time and my finances versus my willingness and my coachability and my dreams and goals. And so, voila, sitting in a mall in the middle of the day, I was warm booked to be a face model for a new consultant's portfolio. Debbie Moore made her talk to me because that new consultant, Nancy Murata, was very shy. Nancy came to my apartment, me and my roommate tried the skincare, bought basic skincare, blush rouge, yellow concealer, and loved it. And then she invited me to an event. And at that event, that's where I started to get the inkling, like, I think this is my tribe. Like, I think these are the women I'm supposed to be with. Like, they're encouraging each other. I never, ever felt like I fit in with any group. I could hang out with all the different groups, but never felt like I fit in. Until in Mary Kay, oddly, I did feel like I fit in. And it wasn't because we were the same age, education, language, body shape, makeup preference. Nope. There was something about this tribe that I went, and I realized, looking back, they were trailblazers. They were women from 18 to 90, PhDs, GEDs, moms of 10 kids, single women, divorced, widowed, living all little towns, big towns, extroverted, introverted, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But they had a desire to blaze a new trail, to be a pioneer. And Mary Kay gave them the mission, as she has given it to us. So you are a trailblazer, whether you've recognized it or not. It's in your DNA, or I don't believe that you'd be with us in Mary Kay right now, where we need women trailblazing straight to the top. If you have a leadership bent, we need you. If you don't have a leadership bent, could you please find some leaders? Your director's going to help you do that. Absolutely. And that is called passing it on, which Mary Kay Ash, she wasn't just a trailblazer for her own trail. She did this so that we would have a trail to walk on, but knowing that she couldn't know all the things that have happened in the last 62 years of this company, that everything would be shut down and our business that we prided on being in person could be revolutionized to be able to do it with the computer screen in between us. You guys, I look back at the times I was given an opportunity to make a traditional decision or an unconventional trailblazing decision. Definitely getting my starter kit that night. Post-dated check, not enough, more month than money. That was a risk, but you had electronic banking then, so I covered it. Also, too, Debbie Moore was there, and she had quit her teaching job with a pink Cadillac and a small child to be at home and make 4 times what she was making as a teacher. That was a trailblazing idea. I had not seen people go from their college-educated jobs to direct sales ever. That was pretty untraditional in the late 80s. Definitely unconventional in my family. My family was not supportive. Family and friends were not supportive. In my first 36 months in Mary Kay, I signed up in Cleveland, went back to Michigan for 17 weeks while my husband went to the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center to become a federal agent. And then we found out we were stationed in Douglas, Arizona. And 1 year, 12 months after that, he was asked to be an instructor back at the Law Enforcement Training Center. So we moved to St. Simons Island, Georgia. My first 36 months, 4 states, 9 addresses, from Cleveland to Metro Detroit to right on the Mexican border, 9,000 people. Half didn't speak a word of English, and I didn't speak a word of Spanish. And then St. Simons Island, small golf resort island. A lot of people move there to have that pre-retirement life or a real laid back, beautiful life. So those 4 areas, 36 addresses, and my husband going through a super intense training program that if you failed any of the tests, it was done. You were done. And he had waited 2 years to get this position. And then that 17 weeks at the academy. And then we got married and moved, his wife across the country. So that was trailblazing. That was very unconventional for his family. Mom, nurse, dad, teacher. You're going to realize, I hope, in the process of this study, that you are far more of a trailblazer and a pioneer than you've given yourself credit for. And that when God lays something on your heart, he always provides for it, always. It's just our responsibility to be obedient. And we know what obedience looks like in Mary Kay. It's book, coach, sell, recruit. Do it again. Book, coach, sell, recruit. Do it again. Whether you have a computer screen in between you or you're out with people. I can look at a couple different situations, all those moves, did Queen's Court of Sales down in Douglas, Arizona, with a flip chart in Spanish and a brochure in Spanish. It made me realize that it wasn't my personality. I didn't have to be extroverted. I didn't have to be anything other than help those women feel better about themselves. Take a translator sometimes. They handed over cash and I handed over products and did Queen's Quarter sales and earned a car at the end of that year. And then my husband's job moved us. So I went to seminar, because you go to 4 events a year, because Trailblazers, we play by the rules of the game, but we're willing to figure out things because your journey is going to look different than anyone else's. But isn't that great? That is what allows us to do God first, family second, career third. See, if everyone's had to look the same, that balance would not be something that you would get to work with 100% of the time. And I guarantee you 100% of my 38 years, I've gotten to work with God first, family second, career third. Actually, this is where I met God. I knew who he was, but had no relationship. That all happened through Mary Kay. Wow, that's trailblazing right there for eternity. My son was born, fairly new director. My second year, just picked up my first Cadillac, had an emergency C-section, lived way away from family. So when people say family isn't supportive, or they live far away, or I don't have help with my kids, or it's a small town, or it's too big of a town, or I have another job. I had another job, 80 hours a week when I started this. I did a perfect start in 2 weeks, did the math and said, bye-bye. And from that day forward was responsible for figuring out how to make enough money to pay for either rent or now a mortgage, to earn a car. So I no longer had a car or insurance payment, to pay for groceries, electric, the whole deal. There's been seasons of my business that my husband's made more than enough money for a whole family to live on very comfortably, GS 14 position. But
when I started drinking warm water to help me lose weight, my friends laughed at me. But when they saw how fast I was changing,
there is something about this opportunity that God said, no, this has nothing to do with what your husband makes or doesn't make. I need you staying forward focused to be a trailblazer here. And now I know why. Because we're in a time period in Mary Kay, batons need to be passed. We need to be finding those women while you're doing your book, coach, sell, recruit, the 4-part recruiting plan. Be out there, in front of people with the product. Nothing happens until you sell something, but this is not about selling the product. We use the product as a vehicle to meet the trailblazers, and you will know who they are because they start to lean in when you're talking about the opportunity in Mary Kay's story and where you were when you started and where you're going to. People aren't used to hearing women talk about goals and dreams. I had never heard that. That was not something they taught me at the University of Michigan Business School. What's your dream? Yeah, conversation never happened. Thought never happened until I was in Mary Kay. And I'm like, oh, wow, like I have no idea. I really haven't thought about a dream. I want to give you guys a book because Mary Kay said one of the keys to success was to read every single day. She was politically incorrect. She said the Bible in the morning and an inspirational book at night or sometime in the afternoon. Schedule it. No one has time just laying around to read. It has to be scheduled. All of my reading time is scheduled. But the longer I've been in Mary Kay, the more I realize I have to continue changing my thinking because my DNA is trailblazing and pioneering. I now know, but I didn't know how to do it. You may not even know how to do it. You may not even know what you don't know. I guarantee you, if you will do the Mary Kay book, coach, sell, recruit, as your director teaches you, and do it again and again and again, and get your hands on all the books that Mary Kay has read, or someone has written about her so that you know about this ultimate trailblazer, she's going to sound a lot like you. And you're going to be excited to represent a company of trailblazers. But while you're out there, we need to be passing these batons on because women need this business as much or more than when Mary Kay had this laid on her heart 62 years ago. When my son was 3 months old, he had to have an open heart surgery, which was on an emergency basis. I left my home in June and was in Jacksonville, Florida for a week to stabilize him and then air ambulanced up to Ann Arbor, Michigan. I will tell you guys that was a huge turning point for me and my husband. I had Mary Kay directors drive in that weren't mine. They were not part of my lineage. They just drove in and did my meetings and helped out while I was gone at the end of a Mary Kay seminar year. My husband was a federal agent with those golden handcuff insurance benefits that I talk about. And no one gave him vacation time. No one helped him out. Actually, it was before the Family Security Act. So he took work without pay. And the great insurance we had from the government, from him being a federal agent, would pay for open heart surgery for Jake in Jacksonville, Florida, but they would not necessarily pay for the air ambulance, which was, I don't know, a lot of money, tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars, because they said he could have his surgery there. But that was two open heart surgeries, two separate open heart surgeries versus one. There was a physician that had invented a one-step open heart surgery for infants for tetralogy of flow. And so, you know what? I did not have that money in a savings account, but as there was something with this business, like I knew I'd regret it if I didn't try it. I also knew I'd regret if I didn't try being a Cadillac director, and did do that 6 months as a new director in a town that no one did meetings in because the director that was there said that it was too small. She went up to Savannah or down to Jacksonville, Florida. Wow. I became a director and earned a Cadillac in 6 months. I was there on St. Simon's, gosh, for 15 years. Earned 13 trips. It was the base to my $1 million units in national area. Moved up to Detroit when God called me and my husband to come back home and again trailblaze, because there was not any technology at that point in time. So I had to record all my training on cassette tapes and have 800 numbers and free conference call. I figured that all out myself. Like that was necessary. There's going to be stuff God's going to give you strategic ideas. The book recommendation is Multiplying Your God-Given Potential by John Bevere, Bevere. I love this book because it's going to teach you how God works with strategic ideas. That was like dreams. I had never heard of that before. Also, too, it's all based on Matthew 30:14 through 25. And that is what Mary Kay, that's a lie. Matthew 25:14 through 30. Oh, I think I'm dyslexic and maybe a little ADD. And social anxiety for sure. So if those are anything that you've dealt with, this business is a great way to work through it without, it's going to save you drugs and lots of counseling. God's going to use this as a potter wheel. But Matthew 25:14 through 30, Mary Kay signed that on my dollar bill when I left her home at new director training a long time ago, 36 years ago. And that whole book is about that. It's about being willing to take a risk. It's about the parable of the talents and the person that buries their talents and doesn't use it to God's full potential for you, not for what the world sees. The world may think that you're very successful and, you have it all made, but you know that you haven't taken the steps to throw your heart across a line to reach God's full potential for you towards your big dream. And Mary Kay, she told us more so than any accolade that we could achieve. She said, if you do not hear good and faithful servant at the end, then none of the other stuff is worthwhile. That was a trailblazing statement. I had never met a woman like Mary Kay before. There was this concern about my spiritual and my personal, my marriage and my child rearing years as she was the success that I brought to this company. She's a trailblazer. She was a pioneer. You're a trailblazer. You're a pioneer. I cannot wait to see what you do with this new discernment, focus, transformation, and work. Work hard, trust God, dream big, to see what that turns into by career conference and then seminar 2025. You guys, thank you for participating. Don't squander this opportunity. This time frame is important in Mary Kay, and you're part of it for a reason.
Okay. Was she not fun? Oh my gracious. Okay, who wants to go first? What powerful message, what jumped out at you that really spoke to your heart? Michelle? Just unmute. There you go.
Okay. that it doesn't matter your background. It doesn't matter who you are, what your social setting is or income or anything like that. When you're with your tribe, you feel it and you'll be empowered basically to do your best.
Yeah, that's so true. Did you hear the part where she said my family didn't support me, my friends didn't support me, but she felt the desire to move on into her tribe area. I love that tribe thing. I thought that was great. Good one. Who else wants to go? Carlotta. That's what happens when I know you. You get called on. Just unmute yourself. There you go.
There you go. Thank you. Well, she kept talking about our potential and that we have the potential to trailblaze and all of that. That really, I think that spoke to me the most. She talked about, you can do this. And if God puts it on your heart, he will provide a way to do it. I liked that. And the fact that we're all trailblazers and what'd she say? It was in our DNA to be a trailblazer. I think she said that. So
we can't get out of the way. Yes.
yeah.
That's a good one too. Thank you, Carlotta. How about you, Jessica?
There was kind of a lot. I really liked when she said you are a bigger trailblazer than you give yourself credit for, because we can be our own worst critics sometimes. So that stood out to me a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. We do have trouble identifying that we're anything near what these people sound like they are to us, So we just have to search for that want to and desire. I think that it's there. Sometimes we just kind of deny it. So like Carlotta says, it's in our DNA. So we just have to identify it and go with it. So great thoughts. Okay. I see Dee down here. How are you doing, Dee? Dia. Sorry. What'd you think? Anything?
Sorry, I was a little half distracted in some of that, but it was really good. I liked that, what they said, that we're all trailblazers. And I think if you just set your mind to it, you can do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. I love the part where
make your success your own.
Yes. Yeah. Where she didn't know how to do any of those things, but she figured it out.
Yeah.
She had to.
I think that's what we're all doing.
Amen, sister. Thank you, Dia. Angela?
I liked that she said Mary Kay is not about selling. Mary Kay is a vehicle to meet other trailblazers.
Yes. And boy, does that go into that next part, because we've got two girls. Who remembers what the 4 things she said takes us to success? 4 main things. Carlotta's got the answer, I can tell. She's looking for her unmute button. Got it?
Got it.
Okay.
Okay. I think this is right. She said, book, sell, coach, recruit.
Got it. Perfect. Now.
Yay.
Yay. Give her a round. Yay. She did the answer.
She had a tendency to talk really fast, so you had to.
Yeah. It's sometimes hard to do, and you think, now, what was that finish of that sentence? Okay, thank you. The only thing I'm going to correct you, if y'all want to write this down, I do think there's a sequence to those 4 items. She said book, and this is in the order you will hear them spoke many times. Book, coach, sell, recruit. They come in an order. And so I've got 2 fabulous directors here tonight that are going to give you, we're going to have a little challenge at the end, but there's 2 different ways we can work our business. We can, multiple ways. We can work it virtually, we can work it in person. But when we're talking numbers of people with a booking, that can often be a single booking with one person, one-on-one facial, or it can be a party. So I've asked our two pros here tonight if each one of them would sell. If you want to write down their ideas, they're going to share with you a booking tip and a coaching tip because they go hand in hand. And so you can't, this is what I remember in my early days saying and hearing said multiple times. If it's worth booking, it's worth coaching. That's how closely they are related. If it's worth booking, it's worth coaching. So don't think that one is unimportant. So Deb is going to speak to us about that facial. She says she does a lot of those. So tell us about your booking tip and then the coaching that you do along with that.
Yes. Okay. Can you hear me okay? Okay. So my booking tip is honestly just to ask. I forgot to tell Rita this earlier, but in the last 3 weeks, I've had 3 different women book me, not me book them, but them book me. Just asking if I'd be willing to help them, with makeup. And I had a mom-daughter came over last night and asked if I would, show them some things and teach her daughter about skincare. And then I have a bride coming up, but they booked me. So one of my booking tips is just to let everybody know that you do Mary Kay. I think sometimes we are kind of keeping that under wraps, and we need to be very vocal about what we do and very proud of that. I was telling Rita this morning, I had to go get my blood drawn and get tested, and chatted with a girl, and not with a plan to book her or anything, but I just liked her. I was, we just had a lot of conversation about things. And so I gave her my card at the end and just said, hey, I would love to get with you. You're just really fun. I think it would be great. I'd love to pamper you. And she's like, oh my gosh, I haven't had a Mary Kay facial forever. I don't even remember when. She goes, let me see if I can get my mom and sister to join me. So just getting it out there so people know. So either they're booking you or you're booking them. But the coaching part of that is, if you think about when you have a dentist appointment or a hair appointment or, any appointment coming up, they're reminding you. I know our orthodontist, I swear we get reminders like 5 times, voicemail, email. I mean, it's a text, now they're not necessarily getting us excited about going to the orthodontist, but they're reminding us. So part of that coaching is, it's reminding them, hey, I'm looking forward to our appointment on, March 3rd. I can't wait to see you. What are some things that you would like to learn that day? Is there anybody that you want to have join you? Just kind of getting them excited and reminding them, because life happens and things come up, and, you want them to know that you're excited for this appointment, and you want them to get excited about it too. So that's part of the coaching. And I know Allison will be talking about doing that with a group, but they just need those reminders, and just to know that you're really excited about helping them. So that's kind of what I do is after we've scheduled, I will kind of reiterate that, and that we're meeting at my house, because I've had that happen where I just assumed they were coming to my home, but I didn't mention that. And well, they were wondering where I was, and I was wondering where they were. And I said, oh, no, come to my house. So you want to just, make sure that you know where you're doing the appointment, whether that's going to be at their home or yours, and let them know what to expect, and just to get them really excited. And then to remind them, the day before and the day of, and everything too, so that they're going to show up. Because if you're going to go to the work to book, you want them to come and be excited about that appointment. So.
Perfect.
And the other thing is, I do a lot of facials. I always give them the option to bring people, because I want that. I'd love if they bring a friend. And sometimes they're like, no, I just want it to be me. And that's okay. If that's what they want, that's okay. Sometimes when you have that appointment, then they might be like, oh my gosh, I want so many things. And, they buy some things, but you can be like, hey, if you want to bring some friends, you can earn some of these things on your wish list for free. So I don't pressure them if they are like adamant against it, but sometimes it'll turn into that just after meeting with them one time. They're like, yeah, I think I could get some friends together. So
yeah, it's great. And Deb and I talked about a purpose. you know, it seems to me authenticity is a really big word that's very popular right now. And people can see through when you're not really sincere about what you're doing. And so if you make sure that you have a purpose behind your booking, and it doesn't have to be a contest, it can just be the fact that you have new spring products and you want to share with them all of these exciting things that Mary Kay has brought out for the spring. And could you give us your opinion? You know, that's probably a very famous line that we like to use. So have a purpose also. And I know Deb is a busy person and she's got quite a reputation as bridal consultant makeup. So it's branding herself and she does that well. So thank you so much, Deb. And Allison's our party animal. She's a party girl. So she's going to tell us how we make that happen.
Okay, so first and foremost, when I book a party, I am going to ask my hostess to give me her guest list within the first 24 hours, if not like the first 12. Like, I want her guest list immediately. So I'll kind of go ahead and show y'all what I'm doing. So these are the parties that I'm working with in March. They're kind of out of order. I have the 1st, 13th, 8th, and 10th. I wrote them out of order. But anyways, I have their name on the top. And then I have literally who they've invited so far. If there's a check mark next to their name, that means they've received their first text message. If they're highlighted, that means they said they are coming. And then on here, on this one, there was a question mark. She wasn't sure if she was going to come, so I have a question mark. This one, she said she couldn't come, but she wanted the link. So we'll talk about that in a second. So make sure with your literally your housekeeping, it's a simple piece of paper. You write down the name of your hostess, who they've invited. And then I want to make sure before the party that I have a minimum of 3 to 4 check marks next to their name, which means I've reached out to them a minimum of 3 to 4 times before the party. So my first party is going to be an invite. If y'all do not have Canva, I suggest you get it tonight. Get the free option. You can search whatever invite you want. I literally, and I'll send this to everybody via email, but I literally created this cute Canva invite for all of my parties for the month of March, and all I do is change the name and the address. That's it. It says, it's time for an evening of glamour and beauty bingo, and then it says Brooks Beauty Bash. It has the date, the time, and her address. And on the bottom, it says Brooke will win a prize for having 5+ guests in attendance, so she'd be sure to RSVP. So I'm letting them know on their invite exactly what their guest is getting for coming. So that is their first text message, and I send a little message with it. If I don't hear back with them within 12 hours, like y'all, I sent these out on Saturday. I heard back from nobody for a guest. So Sunday, I sent a text message back that just said, hey girl, I'm checking in I'm helping Tanisha with her invites for her launch party. And so just wanted to check in and make sure you received our invitation. I was getting them trickled back. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So don't feel like that you're pestering them. You've got to follow up, because clearly when I sent the first text, everybody was busy. When I sent the second text, everybody got it and started responding back. So you've got to make sure that you're checking in multiple times. And then again, like Deb said, let them know what's in it for them. Let them know what their hostess is getting if they're getting 5+ people there. When they say, yes, I'm coming, then you say, okay, is there anything specific that you're wanting to learn that evening? And then I'm going to write it down. Do you have a specific skin concern? If she says acne, oh my gosh, girl, you're going to love the charcoal mask. You got to get here to try it. So I'm kind of hooking her a little bit by figuring out a little bit about her skin and then coaching her by telling her what she's going to get to try. And then again, following up the day before, hey, Dia, super excited for our party tomorrow night. Just wanted to send you a quick reminder. Next day, it's going to be like, hey, Dia, it's party day. Don't forget the address is 517 Chateau Bend. Feel free to pull in the Circle Drive. I'll see you at 6 o'clock. So like Rita had said and Mary Kay Ash always said, a party worth booking is a party worth coaching. You're not pestering, you're reminding. Like Deb said, she's going to get 500 reminders from her dentist's office. Same for my kids. and I copy and paste them, so then they have to remember that it's their appointment, not mine. But literally, you've got to tell them what's in it for them, what's in it for the hostess, and then you got to send all of those reminders, and then figure out what system is going to work for you for tracking all of those people that are invited to the party and if they're coming, etc. And then last thing, if you're going to book a party, did y'all know on your Mary Kay In Touch site, you have a way to create a party link for each one of your parties? It's an exclusive link. If you have a personal website, it's literally going to, it'll say like Brooke's party. Brooke can send that out to everybody she invited. So if somebody is out of town, they can't make it, they can shop directly on your website. And that specific link will keep track of who shopped and what the total value is. So that way it makes it easy for you to do your hostess credit. So for every party that you book, go ahead and create that specific party link and send it out to your hostess, and then also send it out to everybody that was invited as well. So those are my tips.
Oh, and they're great ones. You know, Allison, you made me think of something. Two things. One of them is if you don't follow up and you get there and the hostess isn't following up, she doesn't think that, she's busy baking brownies, you know. One time that happened to me, and before I left, it was in the morning, I checked in and she says, oh, just bake some brownies. I said, do you know how many are coming? No, she didn't know. So I started calling. None of them. She would have had none of them there. But I reminded them that, oh, she's counting on you. She told me she's baking brownies for you and blah, blah, blah. Guess what? They all came. But it was because they had not received a reminder call from me, like these girls just told you, or the hostess even. Usually you assume, well, the hostess is inviting. You can't assume anything these days. I'm sorry. That's great. The other tip I would have is, like Allison said, whenever I would call them individually, I would say, now tell me if is there one thing in particular you'd like to have? And they may say, I really looked for a red lipstick. If you have a red lipstick that I could try, and I'd write that on her card because it's called pre-profiling with your profile card, obviously. And then her name would be up there and I would write that. And so then you can throw that in if you're going to her house, or you can remind that when you set up her tray, to have that there for her. I feel like that's important, that you, like, I don't know, Allison, maybe was it, you bring them in so that you enroll them so that you know you've got something for them, not just a party to get this hostess credit or anything, give her the credit. But and it really is important to enroll them as part of it. So thank you, ladies. Were they not helpful? Yes. Yay. Thank you. Okay. We want to wrap this up with a few announcements. First of all, by the way, the book and coach we did do. We're going to follow up the next week with selling. I'm going to give you a challenge here. If you would remember that we talked about the booking part, right? So stretch yourself this week, get involved, and I want you to book at least one. And if you book 3 before our next Monday, then you call your director and tell her, and she'll have a little prize for you of recognition. So book 1 at least, and you could do it with a spring purpose with 3. Oh, Allison, nope, she says you have to book 3 to get her prize. So there you go. And really, with a new month, it's going to be great. You know, you're going to have good reason. The weather's turning great. People are going to have a great attitude, you know, so that won't be a problem. And the next time we'll have we're going to talk about selling tips at these appointments and what you focus on and things like that. So join us next time for the selling tips after we listen to our special trainer. And then make sure you contact your director, because she'll want to know. She'll want to have a special gift for you. And then the last one will be the recruiting. How do you make that book coach and selling appointment into a recruiting appointment? And actually, sometimes they don't even have to be a recruiting appointment. It just happens because they see what you do and they are already, you just say, critique, would you mind being one of my critiques for my follow-up appointments? And so honest and truly, it's all part of the 4-point system. So just kind of keep those in mind for the future. And with regards to our announcements, we do have a couple really important ones. Friday is our last day of the month. Allison, what can they win with that 700 wholesale combined? Or yes, tell them what you put inside.
Okay, y'all, if you don't have this, you better win it. Figure it out. Like, there are 4 full days left. Figure out how many $50 orders you need, how many $25 orders you need, how many $100 orders you need. If you're in my unit, I posted today some selling suggestions to help you get there. But y'all, this is probably truly one of my favorite gifts we've ever had. Like, okay, so I took this to the hospital when I was with Levi, and literally, you put it on your counter. I have my lip liner, I have eyeliner, I have mascara, I have my brushes. And how easy is it to like have your brushes on one side and your makeup on the other side, and you just kind of get ready and then you put them back together. So y'all, you've got to earn this prize. It is so cute, and you can use it for facials. So I have little B cups for my brush collections for my customers. Put 2 brush collections in these and take them to your parties, open them up, put them next to their mirrors, and like, so cute, so cute. You gotta get one of these.
Oh, fabulous. How many have already earned it? Michelle has, I know. Yes. And let's say you only got 350 in, you're halfway there. So like Allison said, just take that time, follow up with those customers and say, have you seen the new spring things? What can I help you with? That type of thing before Friday or whatever, you know. Thank you, Allison. Don't forget that is part of the last day, and it's midnight Friday, the 28th. The other thing we wanted to make sure that if you put in your date book, it's just a couple weeks away, and that is Star Consultant. So this whole week, anything that you put in this week will continue to build towards that Star Consultant 1,800 wholesale for the last quarter. Now, this is the ending of the 3rd quarter, March 15th. So make sure you're looking at that. Just know that all of those orders from December 16th until March 15th will count towards your star. And most of us directors have something special to honor our star consultants. And it's so worth it because you get the free points, or you can go in and get luggage or knives or whatever you need in your kitchen. It's just endless. So, all right. Then the last one I want to mention is career conference deadline is Friday. And so if you are feeling like it's too far away, any of the location the company is doing, we do have some others. Allison, for you, it's at Allen, Texas. Isn't that closest for you? I do know that in Kansas City is our closest, but I know in Oklahoma, in Colorado, they don't have one that's real close to them, and they have a place out there. You might, I think I sent that to you, didn't I, Deb? About, yes, Brenda had that Lone Star or someplace like that out close to Denver. So there are lots of places. So if you want, I think last year, Michelle and I went to our career conference, or it was a Kickstart. No, not a Kickstart, but it was one that they had a spring. We didn't have one close by. $120. And if you want to do just the virtual part and stay home, let's say your director has something exciting going on for training, and she's going to do the virtual showing of it for $20, you can sign up for that. Did I get that right? $50. Is it 50? $50. Thank you, Allison. I don't know why I didn't write that down. I think I did write $20. That's crazy. That's a real bargain. Well, the $50 is a bargain too. Okay, so those 2 things, and then we'll look forward to having you back here, but let's wrap it up here. But this is from
Rita, I was going to see if I could add one thing. I didn't think about this. So I think sometimes the word booking can be a little bit intimidating. So just something that helps me is just my mind, how I think about it is who can I bless or who can I pamper? And so as I'm scheduling either current customers or somebody new, I kind of use that wording. I'd love to bless you or pamper you. And so that's a lot more appealing than being scheduled or booked. Just when you're talking to them, I just feel like that's makes it really fun and attractive. They're like, who doesn't want to be pampered? You know, who doesn't need that time, that me time? So just one thing I forgot to add. So
no, I love that. And I'm glad you brought that up because some people have a real aversion to the word booking. That is strictly our professional talk. That is not, as far as I'm concerned, as appropriate to use with our consumers, our customers. I personally, you know, what do you do if you schedule that dentist appointment that you're talking about? Allison was, or with all of the reminders that you're getting, they don't call it a booking. They call it a scheduled appointment. So scheduling and appointments are both good terminology. I think that's cool that you use, or what can I bless you with? Anything for
Pampering session.
pampering? Yes, pampering session. I've always liked, you know, give me your opinion. You know, it's brand new, and I'm just dying to find out what the real world out there. We know we love it, but we wanted your opinion. So if as long as it's genuine, you know, that authenticity is really important. So anyway, just some words of wisdom. Anybody have any questions before we take off with topics? You've been great participants. Thank you so much. And this is what our words to meditate on for tonight. Oh, can I tell you what my favorite thing was? I didn't ask the other directors. I'm sorry, I'm taking up there. But I loved her words: scheduling, reading. Mary Kay said, any successful woman needs to read daily. She said for her, she read in the morning, the biblical, something from the Bible. In the evening or PM, she did an alternative reading. Brenda Freeze, the book she talked about, this is it. And this one is called Multiply Your God-Given Potential. And Brenda bought it for me because I had not bought this book. She's about finished with it. She's a reader. And, you know, she's highlighted tons. She says, oh, it was so great. And you can see in the different places, well, there's her pink highlighting, you know. I guess we really can't see. There you go. But that's what you want to do, is you want to have things that expand your thinking, and it helps you realize that there's another way of thinking things. And so it is by John Bevere, and Multiply Your God-Given Potential is the name of it. That's the one that she spoke about today. My key thing that I took away was schedule. I know I want to read. I know I lay things out, but girls, if it's not scheduled, all those distractions can get in your way. So make sure that you schedule, you know, for your own benefit. So this is from 2 Timothy 1:7. This is so perfect for us today. For God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but of power, love, and self-discipline. And so that is straight from the New Testament, 2 Timothy 1:7. You might need to look that up and read the beginning and the ending of it. I always like to take their scriptures they recommend and give you a little history on the beginning and the ending of it. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you, Angie, for all the extra efforts that you're doing up there in New York. And so we're going to be excited to see you back here in Kansas soon. Safe travels. Thank you, ladies. Bye-bye.